Okay, I'm good now? All right. Well, let's get into this because this is a lot of technical information and I want to talk about it. I'm going to read his Truth Social post. It's a very long one, but it's necessary to kind of understand what's going on. Senate Majority Leader, let me not do that. All right, Majority Leader John Thune and Speaker of the House Mike Johnson are doing a great job, he says. But the Democrats are crazed lunatics that have lost all sense of wisdom and reality. It's a sick form of the now legendary TDS, and that only comes from losing too much. They want trillions of dollars to be taken from our healthcare system and given to others who are not deserving, people who have come into our country illegally, many from prisons and mental institutions. Are they honking at me? They better not be. Okay, where was I? Okay. This will hurt American citizens, and Republicans will not let it happen. It is now time for the Republicans to play their trump card and go for what is called the nuclear option. Get rid of the filibuster and get rid of it now. Just a short while ago, the Democrats, while in power, fought for 3 years to do this, but were unable to pull it off because of Senators Joe Manchin of Virginia and Kirsten Sinema of Arizona. Never have the Democrats fought so hard to do something because they knew the tremendous strength that terminating the filibuster would give them. I remember this very well. I was congratulating Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema. Oh, that name. Yeah. She was a pretty decent senator, even though she was a Democrat. She ended up very independent and more like Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin was probably only doing it because he was in a very red state, so he had to be a moderate. But anyways, never have the Democrats fought so hard to do something because they knew the tremendous power of terminating the filibuster. They want to substantially expand the Supreme Court, make Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico states, thereby automatically picking up 4 Senate seats, many House seats, and at least 8 electoral votes, and many other highly destructive things. Well, now we are in power. And if we did what we should be doing, it would immediately end this ridiculous country. Hey, man, Trump, why did you have to release this at 12 a.m. Eastern? I should be at home doing this. This is an amazing story. Okay, picking up all these Senate seats, destroying the country. Well, now we are in power. And if we did what we should be doing, it would immediately end this ridiculous country-destroying shutdown. If the Democrats ever came back into power, which would be made easier for them if the Republicans are not using the great strength and policies made available to us by ending the filibuster, the Democrats will exercise their rights and it will be done in the first day they take office, regardless of whether or not we do it. In addition to all the other things we would get, such as the best judges, the best U.S. attorneys, the best of everything, this was a concept from years ago. Then President Obama and former Majority Leader Harry Reid in order to take advantage of the Republicans. I'm stumbling over my words. Yeah, I'm feeling like Joe Biden out here, man. This is how long this man. Ugh, bro, come on. Oof. All right. Hey, any technical difficulties? Everything good now? Am I okay? No, I'm in a hostage situation. Okay. That's sarcasm. I know you guys really care. You're going to think I actually meant that. Now, I want to do it in order to take advantage of the Democrats. Because of the fact, now this is my favorite part. Because of the fact that the Democrats have gone stone cold crazy, the choice is clear. Initiate the nuclear option, get rid of the filibuster, and make America great again. Absolutely. Now, for anyone that doesn't know what the filibuster is, that has been living under a rock like Patrick Star from SpongeBob, here's what it is. The filibuster is actually a Dutch word. It came from Deutschland, Holland, whatever you want to call them, the Kingdom of the Netherlands. It's a word that translates to pirate. Essentially, it means to hijack the government, like a pirate would hijack a ship. That's what a filibuster is. It's the hijack of government. It started off in the presidency of Andrew Jackson. So it's not like some founding concept of the Senate. It's not like, the founders, put the filibuster into the Senate rules. It was actually John Adams who wrote most of what we know as, the Senate manual today. So John Adams certainly didn't put that in. He loved debate, but not endless debate. So the filibuster requires 60 votes. So essentially, let's say a bill comes over from the House, and it's a bill to make me the sexiest man in the country. Make George the sexiest man in the country. That's the legislation. Mike Johnson passed it. The House, of course, voted on it unanimously. YouTube is blocking video. I hope not. Is it good? Let me know if it's good. So the bill passes over from the House unanimously, of course, because everyone would agree with me being the sexiest man in the country. And then it goes to the Senate, but some bimbos, some dorks who are jealous of me, go to the Senate floor and say, all right, we need to debate this bill. Or a group of senators, a group of dorks, nerds, who got picked on by me, of course. They're like, oh no, he's no good. Completely stop this bill from passing, because George cannot be nationally recognized as a monument, a symbol of American sexiness. And so then, according to the Senate's rules, it would need a 3/5 majority to pass. 100 senators, that would make 60. So it means 60 senators have to vote to end the debate. So those senators that initiated the filibuster have put it into this endless debate phase where, well, technically, and this is how stupid DC is, when a debate is invoked on a bill, they are actually supposed to be debating. The senators or group of senators are supposed to be there on the House floor debating that bill for however long is necessary until they stop. And then someone would invoke cloture. Now, they don't debate. They just invoke the filibuster and just leave the bill dead. So now the Republicans or the Democrats, whoever is in power, is going to need 60 votes to get that bill through. But almost every single year, we will have, 52 Democrat senators in the majority, and then 48 Republicans, or 53 Republicans. Now it's 53, and then 47 Democrats. You see the conundrum here? So you're always going to need like 5 to 8 votes from the other side to reach that 60 vote threshold. And that is a disgusting rule. The filibuster has prevented the country from passing so much critical legislation. Now, in principle, I support the filibuster. I support it in principle. But in practice, I don't. Because there's an art to wielding political power. You have to be able to do things. Thomas Jefferson would not have achieved the Louisiana Purchase in his negotiations with Napoleon Bonaparte if he didn't have the ability to kind of just skirt around Congress, because there was actually a lot of debate over whether his purchase was constitutional because he needed congressional approval. So Jefferson kind of had to break the rules a little bit to get the job done. The filibuster is a stupid rule, but it's also kind of wise. If Democrats control the Senate, we in the minority have a little bit of leeway, right? A little bit of breathing room, because we know they're going to need us at critical moments. And if we filibuster certain legislation, we can kill it. But it gives leverage to the other side, to the minority party, because it means that the majority party is kept in check. And I think in principle, I think that's well-intentioned. Like most things in government, they are well-intentioned, but they screw us all over, right? That's how governments are, the nature of government. But in practice, it stops good legislating. Here's how many times the filibuster has been broken or amended. In 2013, Barack Obama wanted to get his Supreme Court nominees or his judges, his federal judges confirmed to their various courts. And he and the Democrats concocted a scheme where the filibuster would not apply to judicial nominees. This is why presidents have had an easier time confirming their nominees. So whenever Trump, puts up a judge, before that Obama change in 2013, these Democrats could have just stopped every judge pick from Trump. In 2017, Trump, with the help of, Republicans with the help of Mitch McConnell, who was Senate Majority Leader, actually made it so it applied to Supreme Court justices, Supreme Court nominees. So you no longer had to get that 60 votes, or, it basically eliminated the ability to filibuster Supreme Court nominations. And that makes sense. The Constitution gives the Senate an advise and a consent role. It doesn't say advise, consent, or filibuster nominees that the president makes. So in principle, I support the filibuster, but we've seen how it's been changed to slowly have exceptions. So something that sounds good may not always be good, and the filibuster is one of those things. All right. So how do you actually remove the filibuster, as President Trump is saying? How do you activate the nuclear option? So there's two ways to remove the filibuster. The Senate votes for it. It would need 3/5. So 60 votes again. You're never going to have Democrats vote to remove the filibuster, and vice versa. You would never have Republicans vote to remove filibuster. But you have a nuclear option. Boom. You have a Hiroshima option that Trump wants to drop. He's calling it the Trump card, the Trump option. So it's where a bill comes to the Senate floor. Let's go back to my bill, which is Congress recognizing me as the sexiest man alive in America, anywhere. Chocolate Superman, Brown Bond, Blacker Carlson, Tucker Carlson's twin brother. Like, they signed the bill recognizing my awesomeness. And then the Senate attempts to filibuster. Democrats who are jealous of me and my awesomeness pull up to the Senate floor and they say, all right, well, let's debate this. And they invoke the filibuster. So now there's endless debate over my sexiness and whether or not they're going to pass that bill. Well, the nuclear option is one senator comes up on the Senate floor and says, I say we end this debate. And this is legislation that does not require a filibuster. They just say something. And then what typically happens is the chair says overruled. So in this instance, it would be the Senate president, but J.D. Vance ain't doing that job. So it's usually the Senate pro tempore that sits in that chair. Believe it or not, the Senate majority leader is nowhere in the Constitution. It's just a make-believe role because of our partisan system. They don't actually have a constitutional duty. They're not like a vice president. The vice president is the president of the Senate. And after John Adams, no other vice president even tried to do that job, So, yes, the chair would say, I overrule this motion by this member to invalidate the filibuster. And then the House would vote. That member would be like, I call for a vote to overthrow the chair. And so they would. And if a simple majority, 51 to 49, votes in favor of that, then you effectively end the filibuster. It's like a workaround. It's the nuclear option. But it now means that you only need a simple majority to pass legislation. You need 51 Republicans to vote in favor of something. Or 50-50, and then J.D. Vance can break that tie. Here's the thing. We have stupid Republicans. Lou's already roasting me. Lou Valentino says such a bad haircut. Lou, man, I'm going to the barber on Saturday, all right? I know I'm looking homeless, okay? I know. Where's the rest of the beard? Hey, the beard's coming over in installments, It's like, look, Trump needs to sign some kind of executive order giving me a handout here or something. Like, I don't know. Do they hand out any EBT card systems for beards? Because I'm certainly in need of it. It just needs to grow, man. This is like trees right now. They're just not growing. But anyways, Lou's in the chat roasting me as always. So, yes, that is the nuclear option. It's where the Senate votes to just say, all right, we're just going to use our simple majority. We're not going to need Democrats or beg them to vote on our side. That is a critical move for Trump to call for that very loudly. I mean, Trump has been saying, look, let's do something. Republicans need to get smart. They need to get smart. But the thing with the Republicans is they are very, very divided from the inside. The Senate has so many factions. You have the Josh Hawleys, the Ron Johnsons, the solid senators that you can rely on. And then you have Mitch McConnell. And it's like, man. And that's kind of the problem. Then you have Lisa Murkowski and what's the other one? Well, Rand Paul is kind of joining their ranks constantly, voting with Democrats just because he doesn't want to spend money. I just want to be very honest about Rand Paul. He does not understand the art of power. He needs to read John Mercham's book on Thomas Jefferson. It's 600 pages. I went through the book. It's an awesome book. I recommend it highly. But he doesn't understand, Mr. Rand Paul, how to wield power. Okay? You can't just... You have to be a visionary with power. You have to envision... You have to have perspicacity, right? When you have power, you have to have the ability to see far beyond your years in power and see how doing something now could mean so much more. I hope if it comes to it, Rand Paul votes to get rid of that filibuster. Something tells me he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be hard to convince. So you have Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, and Mitch McConnell. The three amigos, they're the ones that are going to make life hard for us. You'll have some other Republican senators, but if Trump, applies enough pressure on them, they'll crack. But here's the thing. It's really not that hard to remove it. Even though you have the senators that can oppose you, you can get Mitch McConnell to vote with you because you could just go to the military-industrial complex and tell the military-industrial complex, if you're Trump, hey, tell Mitch this is what he's doing. He's my now. You guys can finish the sentence. So, because I don't swear. I actually don't swear. Is this guy signaling for me to leave? I'm at the gym parking lot, ladies and gentlemen. I'm somewhere Letitia James hasn't ever seen, I am somewhere she has never seen before, a gym parking lot. I'm going to get into the gym and get some more gains, get more bloated than our federal budget. Look, they're saying my chest, it's getting bigger than Nancy Pelosi's. I didn't think that was possible, but look, we're getting there, man. We're just working hard over here. But anyways, what was I saying about that very thing? Yeah, so I think these Republican senators that would oppose the removal and the termination of the filibuster are controlled by lobbyists. And if you can get their lobbyist to give them the right orders, you can do a lot. And one of the things that people don't really appreciate about Trump, and sometimes it's a negative because he'll endorse really bad people, but one thing that he does very well is he brings these weird factions together. Like, Trump has all these different kinds of people that he hangs with. It's like Lindsey Graham. All right, I get it. We don't like Lindsey Graham. And I don't believe in that Sun Tzu stuff, like keep your enemies closer. I think he actually just liked Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham endorsed him early in that campaign. Trump and Lindsey Graham have a decent relationship, but he'll keep those people around because he might need something from them one day, right? It's the same thing in business. You might need something from them. When he was doing real estate, he was always friends with the city councilman. If you read The Art of the Deal, he'll tell you all about how he built relationships with the mayors of different cities, with the city councilmen, with lawyers, because you never know when a phone number in your phone log could make the difference. So what Trump does is he tries to keep as many people around him as possible. So his circle is surrounded by a lot of people that we would consider very bad. And honestly, I think we're right about a lot of these people. Lindsey Graham is no good. A lot of these people just want him to do what they want. But he also sometimes gets them to do what he wants as well. And that's ultimately good. So, yeah, that's the news for you. President Trump is calling on Republicans to activate the nuclear option, to completely terminate the filibuster. Let's see where that goes. I I predict it won't happen. Well, look, I won't say it won't happen, but if Trump uses his political capital the right way, he can make it happen, because he can just say, all right, well, I'll just campaign against all of you in your states. He can get Lisa Murkowski out of Alaska if he wanted, like that. Just go to Alaska, fly on Air Force One, land like a big dog. Just tell all of them, all right, cool. Here's what's up. You're gonna vote for this person over Lisa Murkowski. She's gonna turn into Liz Cheney, like Lisa Murkowski is gonna be Lizzie Cheney. So, anyways, truly, we have only one shot to fix this country. True. All right, I'll read some chats here and get to my workout. Pretty late. Carrie says, so glad you're back. It's really good to be back on YouTube. It feels good. Hey, YouTube, I have no hard feelings, okay? I'm not even an election denier anymore, okay? I accept the results of our free and safe election. I love our mail-in ballots, I just want to mail it in and just trust some, like, third world country office. Dominion had their offices in Serbia. Like, oh, come on. Where and when did Trump say that? You want to go to his Truth Social. In the beginning, I also just read the whole post incoherently because I'm Joe Biden tonight. I'm doing my best impression of Joe. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button if you haven't, so more people can find this show after I end it here. I'm gonna just do a workout. Tomorrow we're gonna be back with more videos, a lot of videos. More videos than you can possibly imagine. It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge videos. All right, good night. God bless. Goodbye.